Today we will be discussing regarding CSS margins. The CSS margin properties are used to generate space around elements. The margin properties set the size of the white space outside the border. The values could be in pixel, em, centimeter, or percentage of the containing block. With CSS, you have full control over the margins. There are CSS properties for setting the margin for each side of an element, including for the top, the right, the bottom, and the left side. We can use margin top, margin right, margin bottom, and margin left to specify the margin for each side of an element. All the margin properties can have the following values: auto, length, percent, and inherit. Auto means that the browser automatically calculates the margin. Length is used to specify a margin in pixel, point, centimeter. Percent specifies a margin in percent of the width of the containing block or element. Inherit, on the other hand, specifies that the margin should be inherited from the page element. In this example, we use the margin property for each side. The margin top with 100 pixel, margin bottom of 100 pixel, margin right with 150 pixel, and margin left of 80 pixel. Additional information, you can use negative values as its values. Once we run our HTML file over a browser, this is how it's going to look like. The div element has a top margin of 100 pixel, a right margin of 150 pixel, a bottom margin of 100 pixel, and a left margin of 80 pixel. The same with our background and our border property. Margin also have a shorthand property. It is also used to shorten the code. It is possible to specify all the margin properties in one property. The margin property is a shorthand property for the following individual margin: the top, the right, and the bottom and left margin. Please keep in mind when using the margin shorthand property that the values should be in their proper sequence. The value for the top margin, right margin, bottom margin, and left margin. In this example, we have our margin property followed by the value of our top, which is 100 pixel, right margin of 150 pixel, bottom margin of 100 pixel, and left margin of 80 pixel. Once we run our HTML element over a browser, this is how it's going to look like. The same thing goes when we declare the individual margin properties for each side. You can set the margin property to auto to horizontally center the element within its container. The element will then take up the specified width, and the remaining space will be split equally between the left and right margin, bringing the element on the center. To declare the auto value, we'll be using the margin property, then the value auto. This is how it's going to look like when we run it on our web browser. The div element will be at the center because of its margin set to auto.